What's up, my fellas? We're still waiting on one, but we're going to go ahead and kick it off tonight. So we got music back. What do y'all think about that? That's first and foremost.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
go.
Myself singing, to be honest. I mean,
there he is. He's here. He's
hey,
here. We're gonna turn it over to you to lead, man. We ain't gonna give you time, man. We're not even gonna beat you up for being late, you know.
Man,
it's all
I'm
good.
telling you, I don't know why it's so hard to get into the stream every week. You think some professional, doctorate carrying mofos can get into the stream. That's crazy. So
hey, don't put us in that category because you the one that's late.
Hey,
we was all here, bro.
I said doc carrying.
Well, you see how Doc has the screen set up. He's got on the left side of the screen as I'm looking at it. He's got the not smart ones, but we're going to call it on the right side of the screen. We're going to call y'all doctor. That's what we'll do. The doctor.
And I'll tell you what, and it's crazy because we're talking about feelings of inadequacy and I'm technologically inadequate. So it's like I walk right into that one. How about that?
You thought Doc wasn't here and you're going to try to talk smack, huh? Yeah. Caught ya.
We missed you, man.
Doctor or no doctor, we still at time, baby. Let's roll.
Hey, man, look. So sorry about jumping into late, but we're talking about something that hits hard, or at least it hit me hard this week. And I don't know if it's because I stepped into 50, and this whole notice about the midlife crisis or whatever. But I don't know if I'm the only one going through this. But here recently, I've had these just rashes of inadequacy, and it's just come out of the blue. Never have dealt with this before, and so reaching out to see if I'm the only one on an island by myself, looking for a volleyball with a face on it because I feel stranded. And we'll certainly chop it up and talk about some specific things, but guys, just toss it out there, whether in fatherhood or marriage or work, whatever. Am I the only dude that's dealing with inadequacy, feeling that I don't measure up? But let's chop that thing up tonight.
Yeah,
I think that's in DNA. I think that's in our DNA.
Yeah,
honestly,
I'll say that you brought that up when we were talking about the topic, and I will say this, and some gentlemen might be watching, but I've had this conversation. I think it's an age thing. I think it's our age. I really do. Is where we hit this age. We're mid to late 40s into our 50s, and I think we hit there and we're like, okay, am I doing everything I can? Am I doing everything right? Have I set my family up for success? And I think it's I have spent this conversation right here talking to at least five men, long, deep conversations about this. So I don't think you're off the mark at all. I think you're spot on.
So you talked about age. So why does it creep up with age? I would imagine even when you feel younger and kind of reckless or whatnot, it's still measuring up against other guys. Sometimes it's in the weight room, it's looks and
pride, ego, finances.
Ding 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 ding
ding ding ding.
Some of us
Money.
have hair, some of us do not. I think for men, I think it's just the ego thing. I think we're very competitive by nature when it comes to anything. So, Matt now has a lot of pairs of shoes right now. I'm kind of jelly that he got a pair. I did not. Look at him, got the 11s on today. Come on, look at him.
I'll tell you.
But I think until we get to a certain age, and I think Matt's right when it gets to a certain age, but I think on the flip side, you get to a certain age, you're like, it doesn't really matter from the men's perspective point. But I think there's always a competitive nature in there. I bet if the four of us were throwing a football around or throwing a baseball around, Matt's going to try to throw it harder than me. And I'm like, it's just, I think it's that competitive nature inside of us that's like, okay, I don't want somebody to do better than me. It's the same conversation we had a couple weeks ago. The only person that wants you to be better than them is your father. So I think other than that, you think everybody's trying to get over on you. And if you I'll tell you, we'll go inadequacy. Fine. I'll do it. You went to Disney, took your kids to Disney. After much talks to us on here, on live, on not on live, you did it. I ain't never took my kids to Disney. So I'm like, should I have like you had the conversation? Like it didn't linger very long, but I'm like, dang, should I have taken my kids to Disney? But I look back and they're like, oh, they never wanted to go. But should I have taken that to go? And I'm like, dang, does that make me a bad father? Does it make me not as good of a parent as Eric? Like I took him to the moon, he took him to wherever it is. Like I think that's just that whole it's coveting. Thou shalt not.
I shall not covet.
Well, hey, let me tell you this. I took my kids to Disney, and I'm still paying for it to this day. So be thankful. That's that are a blessing. But Josh, I think spot on when it comes to like why does it strike now at such I guess we would call that quote unquote a late age.
Right.
And about 3/4 of us are over the 50 mark. Josh, you're the only baby in the group, right?
Yeah. I'm the baby.
Well, and according to some of your TikToks, you're probably not the baby anymore. But anyway, that's
so yes. We'll save that for another podcast. I believe my new name is in the name of the podcast. We're going to keep it like that. How about that?
5 TikToks a day. Yeah. But nevertheless, I digress.
I digress.
And so with that, I think it's like it's not till you hit that sweet spot in life where you realize or where you're able to have the conversation with yourself that, you know what, hey, I might be amiss. I might be slightly off kilter. I may not be hitting the mark in this area or that area. And where when you 30 something, you just balling. Like can't nobody tell you nothing. Like when I was 30, like I like, oh, bro, I'm all in there. You know what I'm saying? Everything was right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like to like hit my 40s where I was able to be like, oh, it's probably 35, but nevertheless, where someone was able to tell me like, D, I don't know if that's right. And so, and now as a 50-year-old and having a daughter who's a senior and having one who's a freshman in college, you know, I'm like, man, like I had lots of missteps along the way. Where if I could go back, I probably would adjust the dial, maybe 1 or 2 ticks, or maybe 8 or 9 ticks. Like it's something to be, I think, honored where we are now in life. I think in our like we call ourselves professional dad, right? And like in the professional realm, we call that imposter syndrome. And so like in this professional dad realm, like it's just inadequate. Like I missed it. Like I messed up.
Yep.
And again, I hate to be so repetitive, but like each of my 3 girls are so different, like so stinking different. And it's imperative that I understand and that I try to speak their language that's going to resonate with them and not my language. And so I think that's where that sense is. And I think that's where that maturation process kind of kicks in, where we have to start to learn ourselves and we have to know that, hey, we have to make sure we're on cue and we have to make sure that we're speaking the language of our particular children when it comes to our personal inadequacies as a father.
Sure.
So if you're willing to talk about it, whether it was with your child or children or spouse, has there been a time when your vulnerabilities bubbled over to the point where it's like, it's better to keep it in silence, or if I don't talk to someone, I'm going to explode and all hell's going to break loose. So everybody around me, have you kind of gone through that? Again, I want to make sure that after this call, I got a paddle boat swimming back to shore that I'm not feeling isolated, because I don't know why all these things are starting to trouble the spirit. But I'm just interested to know how you dealt with this in your life.
Yeah, I think one thing that happens, and you're kind of, you're older, at age 50, but you still got 2 young boys, right? And you got, a wife there, and you got, your mother-in-law there. And I think sometimes I go back now. Let me go back to me as, when I was 3 young kids. There was times I felt like the outsider in my family, and that's just a fact. And it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't on purpose. It's just that, when we first started dating and first started going out, hey, I was number 1 priority, and that's just the way it is. But when you bring in those kids into the world, you're not. And so sometimes you feel like you're on the outside, looking in and knocking on the window, going, can I come in? Can I, be part of this? And it's not on purpose. It's just the fact of the matter. And I don't think I recognized that when I was young. I got frustrated about that when I was young, because I wanted to be right in the middle. I wanted her, meaning Tisha, to, why can't I be still the center focus of your everything, And to me, that was probably the hardest thing. I think that's where I missed the boat a lot, is in that, and my frustrations and all that, as a man and stuff like that. So it builds and all that, and so when you get here where we are, at this age and all that, and the kids are grown and out the window, the door, you're like, did I miss the boat on all that? Did I take all that stuff personally and maybe cause a little anxiety around the house, that was not meant to? I just took it wrong. And so you start thinking back on all these mistakes that you made, kind of like what Devo was saying, did I, I was balling though, I was doing my thing. I was the man, but I think I look back at that, and that's just one example of where I kind of wish I would have maybe been a little bit more patient and understanding and more communicative. That's a big word, but communicated a
One of
little
my
bit.
favorite words.
Yeah.
To your point, Matt, it just happened 2 weeks ago. We were just sitting around the table asking a question like, where you rank a family member right now? And my youngest said, number 1 is mom. Number 2 is grandmother. Number 3 is brother. Daddy's number 4. I was like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, you lucky you got the number 4.
He could have gone friends.
Yeah. I was like, dang, 4? Like, and I think he caught him because, Ethan looked at him and was like, really, dude? Like that? I said, but he was putting his truth filter in. Hey, this is my unbiased opinion.
But at the same time, that probably hit, and he didn't mean for it to hit, but it probably hit a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I think kids don't see that.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Right. I think, as I say, I don't think kids don't see that for dads. They see, now, granted, dads are always there, right? We always have to be there. So I didn't think they see all of that. My kids say the same thing. Like, yeah, mom, grandma, this, that, like, oh yeah, dad. Like my son, he made the JV soccer team as a freshman. You know how I found out? I texted him like, oh, I called this person. My mom's calling me. My dad's calling me. I'm like, dad doesn't get. So I think it's and I'll speak for me. I take some of the things that hurt my feelings or some of the things that I feel that I wouldn't do. And maybe I did them when I was 14 or 12 or 10 or whatever. But I take those things and I'm like, man, that just crushed my spirit. They don't think like we do. They should. We want to teach them that. So hey, we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings to do that. But we take it so much harder, I think, as adults and even as dads. I'm like, man, like, how come, like, one of the big things with Hudson is I'm like, dude, you're going home with me, right? Like, it's my night, whatever. You're coming home with me. And you go sit and, like, talk to your mom, and you sit over there the whole game. Like, you'll speak to me till after the game. Like, that hurts me. Like, my brain. I left work early. I paid money to get in. I had to get my dinner, which was a water and some peanut M&Ms. I had to pay all this money to eat my dinner, and this is what I'm doing. And you don't even come and acknowledge or whatever that I'm there. He doesn't see it like that. He's like, well, I knew I'm going home with you. I want to talk to mom. She was going to talk about this, and then I'm going to come up to you at the end. So I think we take some of those things, and look, inadequacy breeds in me when stuff like that happens. I'm like, man, what could I have done? What should I have done? Should I be forceful? Should I just sit back? Then I get mad. Then I'm like, I get mad at myself. I'm like, shoot, I don't even care. Like, I don't even care. You want to go? You want to? Then I say something. I'm like, I don't even, you want to go with her? You want to go with her? Like, that's what I'm doing. And it's me. It's not him. He didn't mean to hurt my feelings. He didn't mean to do that on purpose. It's just how I'm perceiving that. And I think it's a teaching moment because I've taken that, pulled that back a little bit and gone, hey man, look, I know you're coming home with me, but you literally walk right past me to go talk to your mom and her boyfriend and her mom, grandma and all that stuff. Like, at least come up and be like, hey dad, hey, let me and you have a little something then, and acknowledge that I'm there. Because you look ridiculous in front of all these people that you didn't come talk to your dad, and they see me pissed off at the moment. So I think you use it as a teach,
Josh is in his feels up in the
I'm in my
stand.
feels, but I'm with you. But I'm like, dang, what did I do? Like, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm present. I'm like, then I, and I know I'm talking a lot, but like, then I get in the car and I'm like, how come then I'm like proving a point. How come so-and-so's dad wasn't there? Oh, I don't know. Dad never comes. Oh, he doesn't. Yes, he does. And then I'm like, then I take it to this other level that I don't need to take it at. And then I end up having to apologize and go, hey, man, I'm just frustrated. And this is why. It makes me feel like you don't want me apart. It makes me feel like this. That's what I've done. And I still do that occasionally. But I think it's an ego thing. I think it's we want to be the best. We want to be the best dad. We got other men in their life, coaches and grandparents and dad, all that stuff. Man, I do. Sometimes I can't keep this thing shut. I know it's hard for you guys to.
I thought you were quiet.
Yeah, it's all good. So go ahead, Debo. Go ahead.
Well, no. I was just saying I never even fathomed it. But hey, Josh, you know what, bro? Hey, I love you, man.
Yeah,
and I just want you to know that.
I'd come talk to you. I'd come straight up and talk to you.
Because that is the exact same spot I am in currently as we speak. So I got approved to shoot the North Carolina regional game, right? And my little girl had my girl had the arrow of the order. So she's in scouts, not Boy Scouts. She's in scouts, right? Because we're gender neutral.
Right.
So I arranged my work schedule so that I could be at this event. Unbeknownst to me, 3 days later, I got approved to shoot the Carolina Regional. And so I'm shooting the game last week, and I was like, you know what? The final for the Carolina Regional is going to be Monday at 7:00, which happens to be the same time her event is. And so I'm a dude through and through. And so like all these emotions come up, and I'm trying to think of different excuses where I can kind of maybe sidestep it. Maybe I come a little bit late. Maybe I come a little earlier, take some pictures, and then bounce. But no, it's at 7:00, the same time the Carolina Regional start. ESPN has 7 different games on from 12 noon to 12 midnight. And they want to pick Carolina to go on at 7 p.m., which is the exact same time. And so I'm telling my wife, right? And I'm like, thinking that she may be like, oh, yeah, baby, this is your shot. You go get your shot, right? None of that. Like, yeah. That's sad.
Mad you're going to miss it.
Right. So,
that's unfortunate that they called you for that one.
So needless to say, I'm sitting up in the scout event, watching the oral of the arrow, and first thing, they start 10 minutes late, and I'm like, bruh, you advertise thing for 7:00, but yeah, like, come on.
That's what we did. It's everybody else's fault. Y'all about to go. Y'all got
pumped.
to get it going.
And then so like they're doing their whole thing, they're giving this spiel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, Devon, chill the freak out. Like, this is your girl's event. Be present, be in the moment, and enjoy this space and enjoy this time. Like, this is only gonna happen once. Hopefully, Carolina basketball will make it back. It's sometimes, but hopefully they will make it back, and I'll have an opportunity to do that. But I had to check myself because like I got totally out of whack and blaming everybody and just being pissed off for something that should be a joyous event. But needless to say, my daughter, she's so nervous, Amos, that she's getting nervous about the thing, and I'm like, look at this, baby. She ain't even enjoying it, and here I am in Burlington. I need to be Chapel Hill, and she punched me in the gut. I was like, all right, I'm back. So yeah, like I hear that all the time, and it's like another situation. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but I want to kind of give points to illustrate this whole thing of inadequacy. And so like I just started a new job, and with the new job, they're like, hey, we may want you to be in this location, or we may want you to be in that location, which happens not to be in the current location that I'm living in. And so, there comes a conversation of moving, which nobody wants no parts of that. Right.
Yeah.
So, because my wife is part of the damn Waltons, and they and a picket fence. So she ain't trying to move nowhere. Right. Like, she like, all right, I'll holler at you. We see you in 3 years. Or whatever the situation may be. And so, I'm trying not to get caught up in my feels because I'm ranked 15th. Eric, you're 4th, bro. Hey, count that shit like all yours.
Like you stopped and been like, Dad's number 4. I'm like, he winning. He's
Right.
winning.
Yeah.
You are with 4 is good. Well, you like in the top percentile. You in Q1. So
Yeah.
do it.
I saw your family picture. I saw you were definitely 15 out of
You know what? Hey, I got to throw on the because this is such a relevant topic that we're talking about. Is a couple years ago, Brady didn't have this girl named Riley. He didn't have her yet. So I mean, we talked on the daily. I mean, we were like this. He was my boy. It was like, it's like talking to Josh every day. I talk to Braden every day. And then entered this girl, some girl.
Dang on you, Riley.
Yeah, dang, Riley. So enter Riley. But she said to me one day, she goes, "You're kind of mad at me, aren't you?" She goes, "Because you don't have your best friend anymore." And no, I'm not mad. But at the same time, man, we transition through these
Salty as hell.
moments in time, and yeah. I mean, it was the daily. We were on the calls daily, multiple times. I talk to him once every couple of weeks now. On the phone, maybe once a week. I'm sorry. We text a lot, but we don't get on the phone a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, that kind of as a dad, man, when that's your boy, and you're tight, and now some chick steps in and is about to be his wife in the next couple of years. Like, what's up? What's going on? I have your mom, but I don't do that to you.
Right.
That's funny.
Well, who does she think she is?
I feel like I'm rowing closer and closer with these conversations back to the shore, reminding me that I'm not by myself. It's hilarious to hear the stories. I'm keeping stone faced to keep from crying. You know how they say, where you laugh to keep from crying, because again, these are things that I haven't really thought about. Hadn't really, sometimes I wonder if it's just head trash, that are just something that I manufactured just to create some kind of, feeling or whatnot. The biggest thing that Erin said to me, even coming on to the show, she's, I told her, hey, I'm excited about this because this is something where I get to chop it up with my guys and talk about this thing. So why don't you talk to me about it? Or do you feel that way about the boys? Do you feel inadequate as a father? And I'm like, no, that's not actually why I feel that way. I feel that because of you. And I said,
I hope you ain't listening. He really didn't say he's joking.
And I said right to her.
but it's not anything that she did. It's just when I compare the grind, I'm in awe of her grind.
Yeah.
And I miss that grind. Because unfortunately, I don't have the same grind. It is one of those hit or miss. Josh, you know the business. It's like I told a guy I was meeting with, I said, I don't like to call 40, 50 people a day and talk to 3 people. I could be doing something else with my time, So I miss the grind. She's grinding. And I feel like she's holding the family up. She would say, no, we are holding the family up. But this is the first time that I've actually looked at it internally and said, no, wait. You have to address what you're feeling, because the easy thing to do is retreat and just keep it moving. Be an ostrich or a flamingo and keep your head in the ground. And so now that these things are surfacing, I'm trying to make sure that yes, I am still head of household. Yes, I am still contributing. Yes, I am still making a difference because, again, as I told her, I said, I'm not used to packing the snacks and putting out the clothes, but I'm taking away a stressor for her so that she doesn't have to do it. And so while it's a different responsibility because of the time that I have to do those things and it's important to the family, is that the role that I'm supposed to be at the head of the household, or I go kill the animal, cook the animal, we eat the food, and I'm not doing those things, and that sucks because of what I think I should be doing or the contributions I should be making. Now, on the flip of all of that, let me be clear. I love the fact that we're helping people solve their financial problems and issues that they may have. I'm a part of that, navigating that process for them. But when I look into my own family, it's like I spend more time in your problems than I do in my own, and that's where now in this head trash thing.
Yeah.
I think I was sorry, Matt. I was gonna say, if anytime you get, whether it's a job or finance, I mean, I've been in, where in a relationship where she made more than I do. That's a different level. That's a different level of mental as well in the household. Like, hey, you make more money than I make. It flips, all that stuff. But I think what Erin's trying to tell you, without trying to tell you, is that we're good. Like she's got her role, that she's in her lane and she's doing her lane. It may be wider, skinnier, whatever, and you're in your lane, and y'all are going in the same direction. And be thankful and be appreciative of, one, her lane, but also of your own lane where you are, because she is. It sounds like she's on board. Like, Eric, you doing your thing, dude. Like, and I think it's almost like that. It goes back to that whole pride, ego thing. Like, I don't want to wash the dishes. I don't want to, like, I think it's that ingrained in us because of my dad, my grandparents, all that stuff. But I think that's where you said it. Hey, I do this because it takes a stressor off of her plate. Then that's her love language. That's where you're able to live. You just gotta, I think, process that on your own mind. Like, hey, this is my role. My lane's done during the day of financial stuff, because I'm with you. Sometimes it sucks. I'm with you. I don't want to call 40, 50 people a day. I don't want to email 40, 50 people a day, but I'd much rather email them than call them. But some days I'd rather just talk to 5 and have 5 deals. And then, I'm so busy that I can't do the dishes. I can't do the laundry. I don't have to, clean up. I don't have to do all those things. But sometimes when it's slow enough, those things still need to be done. I think you've got this huge piece of her that's like, hey, just Eric, stay in your lane. And you're helping her out. She's helping you out. It's that whole
mutual
relationships are 50-50. I don't think they're 50-50. I think they're 100-100. So where she's at an 80, she needs you to pick up that 20. That's where you're picking it up, because there's going to be a time when you're going to be at 60 and she's going to have to pick up that 40. Right now, you're just picking up the difference on her end of where she's at, because she needs to be at 100. You guys got to be at 200, whatever that looks like. And I think that's hard for us men to understand, because we're used to being 100. But when we're at 120, 130, 140 all the time, then we feel inadequate, because we feel like somebody's taken, and we can never feel like we're getting ahead.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's go back to the trip thing right now. So we're getting ready to go to Italy, and Tisha's man. There's so much overtime at the hospital right now. She has her head down and she's grinding. She's making the trip possible, because it is a big one. When you're going over there, you're dropping a lot of money. I'm sorry, and it's stressful to me. But I am so appreciative that she's willing to put her head down and go and work and pick up these days of overtime, which is really cool. Sometimes it's, I feel the same way though, because I'm a pilot, but I worked like 7 days as a pilot last month. That's all I flew last month is which is pretty good, because it didn't affect my paycheck. But at the same time, it's like, well, I didn't go out and, find a spare job. But then again, I did because I'm over here building convene and working my butt off constantly, grinding, but it's not where it needs to be yet. But I see that light at the end of the tunnel. And it's kind of like where you're at, with your job, you're building and building and building, right? It's coming, it's on the way. And that's where convene is. It's coming. It's just been a slow roll getting there. Well, hers is hour in, hour out, hour in, paycheck, hour out. So, I mean, I got to pick up the
She can
slack.
leave it. She can leave it. Once she's gone, it's gone. It's done.
I went home like tonight. I made dinner and all that because that's what she wanted me to do, So, I mean, you do what you got to do, but at the same time, it's like, man, she's making it possible. She's making this trip into what it needs to be and making it special. But as a man, sometimes you're like, and I go back to this. Well, if I'd have had this squared away a long time ago, then maybe she wouldn't have to be grinding, and stuff like that. But let me flip the script on you. She was a stay-at-home mom till about 7 years ago. She was a nurse right at the beginning, and then we made the decision that I'm going to work. She's going to be a stay-at-home mom so she could raise the kids, even though she's a nurse. And then it flipped back, and now we're both grinding, we're both doing our thing. We're empty nesters, but man, it's it's all that. It's all of this. Just it adds up and adds up and adds up.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, this is something that I was thinking about when we dropped the topic, because the last few sessions, obviously, we highlight our roles as fathers with our children and the different things that we deal with or contend with as fathers, but very rarely do we create the space to talk about fears and failures as a father. Because again, Josh, as you mentioned, judgmental, ego, all things that, call for us to try to keep that close to the vest, put on our Superman cape. I think sometimes it's important to share with one another that there's chinks in the armor, that got a little tarnish going, and I need some polish, and this feels like polish.
Yeah, I got to say something on that, because I think they don't always realize that we need to be picked up.
They don't
realize that they don't realize that, and it's very simple for me. Well, two things, I mean, if you go to the love languages, I'm going to say this and we're going to go straight. Our minds, because we're men, it's going to go straight there. But, I'm physical touch.
Because it is there. It is there.
Yes, but that's not what that's.
Let's go.
Yeah. But my point is, it's like, I mean, I need that. I need that hug. I need that, I need that just that little touch, I need her to, slide up next to me when we sleep at night, That's when I wake up in the night and she's right next to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Because she's not physical touch. She doesn't want to do all that. But when she sleeps, right there. And it means something to me. She don't know it. But I wake up and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it. She does love me.
I get that. It's hot. Move.
Exactly. But look, these things, for us, man, it's
if it ain't the headache, it's because it's too hot. Like, what are we doing?
But we don't get it all the time. Like it's, again, we're the man. We're the head of the family.
We don't get it.
You don't get that.
We don't get it all the time. No, we do not.
What I'm saying. I'm not talking about the physical touch there. I'm talking about, I'm talking about even the verbal, even the, what we need. And that's something that took me me personally, a long time to be able to verbalize to Tisha about, hey, I want to know you're proud of me.
Yep.
I want to know that what I
need
do
that too.
You know?
100%. Matt, I'm in the same exact spot that you're in, because ever since I've taken this 2-year hiatus to not work, I just want to know that what I do matters, and that you still care. Like, am I there for you? Are you there for me? Like, do you still love a brother? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I think that's what it matters. And so I think is E, and I'm going back to your conversation, point is that we just need to have conversations with one another. We just need to talk it out. Like, we need to make sure that we are speaking from the same sheet of music. And I think that as career-minded folks, as professionals, I think sometimes we just about going and getting it, like going and getting it, going and getting it, going and getting it. And we go and we get it, and we do that over and over and over again. And sometimes we forget our foundational piece, where we need to kind of bring it back to center, and we need to make sure that we are effectively communicating and be like, you know what, I appreciate what you did, and hey, that, you know, dot 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 still matters, and thank you for packing the sandwiches. Thank you for making the snacks for the softball team or for the baseball team. You know, that matters a lot. And so I think it kind of goes back to that, because, you know, I'm used to being the carnivore, where I would go out and I would slay all day. And now it ain't like that. You know, I'm just like pew 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 pew. You know, and, and so like where I used to bring home the buffalo, like I'm bringing home the steakums. You remember?
Slice meat.
And so I know that you still like steakums. You know what I'm saying? And it's still good. You know, and so that's the whole.
Oh, that's too funny, dude.
He said, "Pew, pew, pew."
Yeah, it ain't no joke.
I'm standing at any mall in America in the
It's
food
coming.
court with some steak of meat. They call it a cheesesteak. That's some steak of meat.
Hey, quit tripping and don't hate on steak, because you know you used to love.
That's why I just said. I'm thinking of
things
every
and some onions.
Every mall in America, you thinking you're getting steak and cheese. It ain't nothing but steak 'em. That's what it is.
That's all it is.
Out of flashback. Hey, quick shout out to the chat. Looking into the chat, it was great to see Anthony on the chat this week. We miss you, man.
Yeah,
but he's right, because this feels very much like Paul and Silas and Barnabas having this moment where we are in a company of men. You know, and we do need to share about this. I think someone else, Corey, says, you know, as a husband, this helps having this conversation. You know, I think we were ready to take a pause on celebrating our kids, and spouses will say, hey, let's talk about ourselves, because man, it feels lonely sometimes. And I have to say this, because I know Erin will hear this again. She is 110% in my corner, biggest fan that I have. So that needs to be said. But I think there's some times where we just have to have that self-check, just convince ourselves. We're always kind of trying to convince ourselves that we're good. And then the other thing for us, because you know we're a company of Christian men, is to not forget that the Father loves us, and we need to give ourselves grace, because we're, you know, crafted in righteousness, and we have been gifted with this responsibility to lead our families and lead them as Christian godly men. And so when you have these moments of doubt and vulnerability, it's like this one sense, it's like the physical man is talking and I feel weak, but my spirit man is realizing where my help comes from, and that I'm grateful, and that I recognize this responsibility that I have. But it's like, hey, Jesus, is it okay for me to just say, I feel like a weak dude right now?
Yeah.
Am I okay for that?
But I think you said it, like, and Tisha's obviously in Matt's corner, Debo's wife's in his corner, Aaron's in your corner. I think still as men, they could be all in our corner, and we're still going to figure out a way to self-doubt ourselves and go, man, I got my woman in my life that is all in. My kids are all in. Everything's all in. And we're still going to sit back there and go, man, we still going to sometimes just need that extra, just the extra piece. Like Aaron could be at 100. Like, hey, I need 101. Like, I think that's just part of how we are as men. Like, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, hey, I love you too. I love you more. I love you more to you. Like, it's almost like we need to either have the last word, or we need them to have that last word to go, I just need you to tell me one more time. It's like, look, women do the same thing. You don't think I'm pretty? No, I think you're beautiful. Well, why didn't you tell me? Well, I tell you all the time, but I needed you to tell me then. We still I think we still have those moments too,
Can't read your
but it's
mind,
not
woman.
the physical. It's not the physical per se. I mean, but it's more of the, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, I
Yeah.
see you busting your tail. Hey, I know you're coming home late. I know you're doing this. She could tell you that every day, and it's gonna come around, and she's gonna be 5 minutes late saying it because something happened. You'll be like, she ain't proud of me. Like, she hadn't told me to. Like, I think that's just I just say it's how we operate. I'll do the same thing.
Two of my favorite stories. One favorite story, and then a comment is when I started flying again. Like I remember calling Tisha and was like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to start flying the helicopter again, air medical," and she's like, "You going to do what?" You know? And so there I was. I was my first patient flight. I'm up on the hospital at Wake Forest, Baptist, and I called her and I'm like, "Hey, where you at?" And she's like, "I'm driving." Braden was a freshman. She's like, "I just picked Braden up. We're on the way home." And the flight path back to the Elkin base where we were based out of went right over my house. And I'm like, "Well, I'm on my first flight. I'm going to leave, so I'm going to fly over the house." And she said to me, she goes, "Hey, Matt, remember, I'm a retired Marine," but she goes, "Hey, Matt, the flights doesn't do anything anymore." And I was like, what?
That's
You
right.
know?
Oh,
That's what she
Tisha.
said. I'm like, what? But let me tell you, when I went ripping over that house at 300 feet and I banked that thing hard and I looked down in the yard, they were all standing in the front
I
yard.
bet it does
Right? And the
now.
helicopter was, and I was ripping it around. So that nonverbal of her being down
Back
there.
that are trying to get triage or
But
that's showing
we had
off.
already dropped the patient off. We were going back, and they were like, and I was like, "Let me show you what this helicopter can do." But it meant I talk about that story till today because it meant something to me. Yeah, she threw the joke out, and I kind of took it as like, But when I was over the house, they were all standing right in the front yard, to include her, and that meant something to me. But here's the thing. I fly with a lot of pilots, and we're pilots, right? So, doing our thing, flying jets, and I fly a helicopter. Almost everybody, but about 3 of us out of 28 pilots, that's all they do. They're pilots, right? And I just told you I flew 7 days last month. That's not good enough for me because I still have goals above and beyond being a pilot. So I'm on the grind. That word you were talking about, Eric, a minute ago is the grind. I'm not settling with just, I mean, if I'm only working 7, 8 days, which we're scheduled to work 14 on average a month, what the heck am I going to do with the other 14 to 16 in the month?
Yeah.
I got to go make something happen, and I got to make it happen because I got to better the life for my family. And that's just the way I feel about it. I'm going to grind. I'm going to work. And there's a lot of people who aren't like that, man. They just settle in, but that's fine if they just settle in.
I think the grind produces what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
The grind definitely produces that because we're grinding to pay bills. We're grinding to be the best dad, best husband, best boyfriend, best spouse. And when we, like Matt said, crap, what am I going to do the other 24 days this month? You feel like, oh, well, I'm not doing something. Well, I'm still getting paid, but it's that thing in our mind that's like, you're grinding. So it's like, I always have to be doing something.
Hey, if we want to take the Disney trip, we want to take the Disney trip, but that takes work,
Yep.
If we want to go to Italy, we're going to go to Italy, but that takes work, got to put the effort in.
Yeah.
You ain't alone, bro.
You ain't alone. That's for sure.
I tell you, well, this has been good for me, selfishly speaking, because like I said, I was ready to jump in the deep and see if my doggy paddle skills could kick in, because again, nothing like this has ever happened before. We're getting the question, why I feel low in production or lack thereof, and should I be doing something else? Shout out to my pastor Lee Stokes here in Greensboro, North Carolina, because here in the last month or so, he's been really being intentional about walking in purpose, and I think that that's one of the things that kind of keeps me centered, is that I'm keenly aware of what I think my purpose is, and that is somewhere in the helping. sphere. I thought it was education and teaching and whatnot. So somewhere in that thing, but I think it's really important for us to, continue to walk towards that path of working in purpose. To make sure that we don't hit that wall because we're chasing, whether it's the money or chasing titles. We talked about that in one of the first podcasts about ascension in career. And so that's something that keeps me grounded and is walking in purpose and making sure that I'm not trying to make a living, but living my making.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
True. Well, look, I'll throw it to like my world, right? Like you guys are all married, I'm not. But look at it from we'll go to the social media piece of it. We'll use that one. So I have 87% female followers on all of my platforms. So you can imagine, the women are listening. Y'all gross. All y'all women are gross. But look at it this way. So I post my stuff relative, parenting, funny, single, dance, like whatever it is. So I get all of this validation, which I don't need that. I have grown from that. I don't need that. It's nice, whatever. But I hear and I see you're funny, you're handsome, I like your eyes, I like your beard, I like your haircut, I like your clothes, I like all this positivity. Now, granted, it's a highlight reel, is all it is. Everybody just wants to be there, except for Abby. Abby's in the chat. Abby tells me like it is. But you have all of this stuff, people pushing. It's like an athlete. You have all of this positivity being pushed to you. When that screen goes off, when that video goes off, when you have to face Aaron, or I have to face my kids, or I have to face Matt, or you guys, or go to work, they don't care that, user 5675593 said I have a nice beard and I have a nice smile. They don't care. That's that validation, or that, oh, am I inadequate? Oh, you don't think I'm funny? Oh, you don't think this? Oh, you don't think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread? And it hurts for me. The biggest thing where it happens with me is Hudson. Hudson will go, oh, well, and I posted something about it the other day. Everybody thought it was funny, but that's real life. Like, oh, Jack's dad's so cool and he's so funny. Who the heck you think Jack's dad wants to be like? Like, I'm like, oh, am I not funny and I'm not cool? And Hudson's like, I mean, you're all right.
But yeah.
I'm like, but it's,
I mean, you weren't.
Right. It's the kids don't, and I go back to what I said before, like kids don't see it like that. They're just, it's why our kids mind for everybody else, but they don't mind for us. Like, we're like, oh, they're little hellions. I want to punch him right in the throat. And they go to somebody else's house and they're like, oh, he's the sweetest child. He used his manners. And what, like, where'd he find those? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So you have to switch that.
Josh, you saw it. We did the Convene 23 event, and Josh saw it. Like, they're not going to always tell me to my face, but they were on stage and they talked about me, all three of my kids.
True. It was awesome.
Unbridled. It was great. It was great. I didn't, force them to say the things that they did, but they were up there talking about what we do as a family and how we are as a family and the grind and how this is our thing and all that. And it means something. But I want to say this, and then, because I know we're getting close to the end, but that's why we created this group right here, Eric. That's why we get so much out of this, because, if I were to get everything that I wanted out of my wife, I wouldn't need any of this, right? But she's got a life too, and she's busy, and we have kids and all that. But it's not just about getting that validation from my wife. It's also getting validation from my boys. And it's also sitting there and looking and going, hey, guess what? As men, we're not walking alone, right? Because we're not walking alone. We go through the same things. We may not realize we go through the same things, but we go through the same things, at different points and different times. But I also want to say, look, I think it's so important that each and every one of us, we have a father, we have God. And that Father is what gives me the ultimate hope, So I don't get down, because if I'm down, I know there's tomorrow, and I know there's hope in tomorrow. And that's really how I feel about it,
Yeah. I agree with you on that. And I think that is a good good way to wrap things up, because that is the reminder, the man in the mirror, the reflection,
MJ, baby.
I see somebody redeemed, and that is that's something I don't take lightly, even though we are in an earth suit called a body, as my pastor says. We have flesh,
Yeah.
we feel, but we have something that's higher than just the things we feel in the flesh. But this is still good to have this moment to kind of chop it up with you and get this "you're gonna be okay" moment, because I needed it. I don't know what it will be like tomorrow, as far as when I feel the same way. I'm not anticipating feeling the same way. Shout out to The Chosen, Last Supper, date night, tomorrow night. Looking forward to
Friday.
that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that movie, man. I'm telling you, I've been looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been good. So go around the room like we always do. Maybe end it with one thing you're thankful for, and we'll kick it back to Matt to close us down.
Man, I'll say I'm thankful for Thursdays, man. I know we say it all the time, but it's a therapy session. It's a chop it up session. I wish I had somebody here cut my hair. Like we feel like I'm at the barbershop. Like it's just chill. I lose sight of the fact that we're not like all on the phone or sitting in the same room and we have people watching and we're helping make an impact on people. That's how real this is. And that's how much it obviously helps me. And the topics are, and I think Corey said it in there too. Like, this is about dads, but this is about husbands. This is about boyfriends. This is about fiancés and how we navigate through all that, because we all feel that. So I'll just say I love Thursday nights, man. Love Thursday nights. Hopefully everybody gets something out of it. I know I got something out of it tonight, and hopefully it helped somebody else out there. So yeah, man. And find somebody to talk to. I have these three brothers here and, select group of friends. Man, find people that you can trust. Doesn't have to necessarily be men, but men talking to men. If you're married, don't find a woman to talk to. Find another man to talk to. Don't do that.
That's facts.
That's not something you probably should do. But I mean, if you're a man, find some other guys to talk to. Reach out to us. Reach out somehow. We'll be happy to talk to you. But yeah, men need men. That's for sure.
100%. I think that's probably the best advice of the night, Josh. Yeah, men shouldn't be talking to other women. Not that they don't have good sound advice, but yeah, you might find yourself on a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? So avoid that. Like the good book says, run from all temptation. Like just run, Cletus, run, Cletus. And so I think you are spot on there. I love this. Like to me, it's all about just trying to find yourself, just trying to hone in. I think it's always important to calibrate because I think Satan, I don't think God tempts us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, God's tempting me with this Carolina regional. No, God is not tempting you. God gives us free will. Like, he just wants to see what you're going to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So like he blessed you with the opportunity to even shoot the first game. Like, rejoice. You know what I'm saying? And so like, sound decisions are you going to make from that? And so I think it's so important with your family. Just again, just calibrate, just see if their thinking is your thinking. And if not, just see where you need to pivot. Like, there's nothing wrong with a good pivot. You know, there's nothing wrong with a good pivot. And I that's part of one of the most important takeaways that we can make. And if we believe something to be true, ask our closest people. Because one thing I can promise you, the people who are in your inner circle, they ain't gonna lie to you. They ain't gonna give you no shade. They ain't gonna sweet coat it. They ain't gonna put no cinnamon or sugar on top of it. They're gonna give you that raw. And that, I think a lot of times that's what we need. We need that raw. We need people just to come like, hey, this is what it is. And so if you're not stepping up, if you're not meeting your obligations as dad, if you're not meeting your obligations as husband, consider an opportunity to do right, to get it right. You know what I'm saying? To do better. And so I think that's where we need to find ourselves and embrace it, because none of us have this perfect, right? And so these conversations are a launch point for us to calibrate and to see what we can do 1% better. So those are my little takeaways from the day.
Thursday's the new Friday for me. I'm telling you, I get so much energy when it gets closer to the end of the day on Thursday. I'm heading to Charleston next week and trying to figure out, am I going to pack this microphone with me? What am I going to do? Because I can't miss this next week because it's just something that lifts the spirits. And again, even when we see the chat, to see the folks that are watching and listening to us, that we potentially be a blessing in your life. You are blessings to us when you come on. So this is something that I certainly look forward to, and just look forward to continuing to grow. I want to say thank you to you guys for availing yourself and your experiences through this topic of inadequacy and vulnerability, because I needed it, and I appreciate you. Love you much, Matt. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, man. Look, I'll say one same thing. I can repeat everything. I want to really make sure everybody knows out there, this isn't just about the four of us and Doc in the background tonight. It's about let's grow a group of men. We're going to be getting this community up and running and going. I know we keep saying it, but we really are. But this is about so much more than just the four of us sitting here on the camera tonight. It really is. We want you to join us and be just as much a part of this as the four of us. You're seeing us all the time, but it's great. You see how much we get out of it. We hope that you get the same thing. Last thing I'll say as we close it out is life is not easy, gentlemen. Life is full of ups and downs. And some days you have good days. Some days you have bad days. Some days you're riding, standing tall. Some days you're down on your knees. The thing is we've said it. And I think that this is what this community is all about. Never lose hope. You always have God, the Father, that you can turn to, but you also have us that you can turn to as well. So let's build this community for men. Let's keep growing it. But let's keep leaning on each other and making this a special thing and even better than it is now. Let's make it better each and every week. So appreciate everybody very much. Thanks for being on. Doc, thank you for running it from the back. We'll see you all next Thursday night.